In today's tale, we'll meet John, a man who has faced years of personal sacrifice and tragedies. He lost his wife during childbirth, and then his daughter disappeared when he entrusted her to a couple of acquaintances. For decades, John never gave up on finding his daughter, despite countless frustrations and dead-end leads. Did John finally manage to find his daughter? And you, what would you do in this situation? John's life has been marked by pain from a young age. At just 6 years old, he lost his father in World War II, leaving him as the sole man in the house. With a widowed mother and a younger sister with special needs, John quickly took on the role of protector and provider for the family, sacrificing his childhood and youth. During the day, he worked tirelessly to support the household, and at night, he cared for his sister, ensuring she lacked nothing. Despite the burden of responsibilities, he found love and married Anne, a kind and optimistic woman who brought hope to the difficult days. However, this joy was short-lived. During the birth of their daughter, Anne suffered complications and passed away, leaving John devastated and alone with the newborn in his arms. He promised to raise his daughter with all the love he and Anne had envisioned, but soon realized the task would be very difficult. With the pain of loss still fresh, John knew he needed time to gather strength and regroup. Thus, he entrusted his daughter to a couple of acquaintances, promising to return for her once he was ready. This decision, which seemed like a temporary solution to his problems, would only increase his suffering. John's fate was about to be changed forever. After losing his wife during childbirth, John was completely devastated. He was alone and disoriented with the responsibility of raising his newborn daughter. Feeling overwhelmed, he decided to leave the girl with a couple of acquaintances while he tried to emotionally regroup. They were people John deemed reliable, always showing support in difficult times. He thought his daughter would be safe while he gathered the strength to properly care for her. But upon returning a few weeks later to retrieve her, panic seized John as he found the acquaintance's house completely empty, doors and windows shut, no lights on, and no signs of life. He knocked on the door several times, called out their names loudly, but received no response. Trying to stay calm, he went to the nearest neighbors, but no one knew where the couple had gone. Desperate, John contacted the police, who launched an investigation into the couple's whereabouts. However, little was uncovered as they had disappeared without a trace, taking all necessary belongings and leaving no clue to their destination. The lack of concrete information plunged John into an abyss of uncertainty and guilt. The last thing he expected was to lose his daughter after losing his wife. Days turned into weeks, which soon turned into months, and John became obsessed with the search. He isolated himself, dedicating every waking moment to looking for clues and information that would lead him to the couple's whereabouts and consequently to his daughter. He tracked down every contact the couple might have had, but none led to a significant lead. As he searched for answers, John watched his life slowly crumble. His friendships weakened, his health deteriorated, and he distanced himself from work, focusing solely on finding his daughter. Pictures of her were his only companions, filling his heart with hope and increasing his pain at the same time. With each lead that led nowhere, he plunged even deeper into anguish. His daughter's disappearance became an open wound in John's soul. Even in his despair, he refused to give up, firmly believing that one day he would find her. Time passed, and he grew older, but his determination remained unshakable. His tireless quest for his missing daughter became his life's mission, motivating every step he took. Years passed mercilessly, and John continued his relentless quest for his daughter. He aged as he revisited the same clues, Never losing hope of finding her, he became a solitary man, living alone in a house where the walls were adorned with photos of the child he had lost. Loneliness was his only companion, but he still maintained surprising strength and an unwavering belief that he would see her again one day. He began hiring private detectives to help him find any trace or clue of the couple who had taken his daughter. Years of searching took him across the country, following trails that invariably ended in dead ends. Yet, he persisted. Each new investigation sparked a small flame of hope within him, making him believe he was closer to seeing her again. However, the weight of fruitless searches took its toll. John could no longer work with the same efficiency, and his health began to decline. His closest friends drifted away, unable to witness his decline as he dedicated his entire life to this seemingly endless search. But after many years, there was finally a breakthrough. He hired a detective specializing in finding missing people. This detective, using modern methods and his experience, managed to track down a young woman who matched the profile provided by John. She worked as a flight attendant, a job that required frequent travel around the world. The detective confirmed the young woman's identity and shared this news with John, who was both relieved and anxious. The uncertainty of how to approach his daughter after so long began to weigh on his mind. He wanted to talk to her, explain why he hadn't been present in her life, and hear her call him Dad. But the fear of rejection paralyzed him. Unable to confront her directly, John decided to discreetly observe her in her work environment. He used all his savings to buy a first-class ticket on the next flight, where she would be working. At that moment, he knew he would finally see her after all these years. He didn't know if she would recognize him, but he just wanted to see how she was doing. On the eve of the flight, John couldn't sleep. His mind was filled with memories of his wife and the baby he held in his arms in that hospital so many years ago. The next morning, he dressed in his cleanest clothes and carefully packed his luggage. With a mix of nervousness and excitement, John boarded the plane, taking his seat in first class. He knew that flight would be a crucial turning point in his life. Upon recognizing each other, father and daughter remained silent for a moment, their words caught by the intensity of emotion. The flight attendant, with tears in her eyes, leaned in to embrace John, who held her tightly. They remained like that, embraced, until the daughter whispered softly, "I always knew you didn't abandon me." John felt tears streaming down his face, a mixture of relief and gratitude filling his heart. She explained that her adoptive family never hid the truth about her origins, and that she had always believed that her father loved her and would search for her one day. What had started as an ordinary flight turned into a reunion of love and redemption, with the other passengers watching in silence, touched by John and his daughter's story. After years of searching, suffering, and hoping, they were finally together. John felt the weight of decades of pain lifted from his shoulders as they hugged. He realized that all his struggles and sacrifices were worth it. When the flight landed, the two walked out of the plane together, hand in hand, ready to start a new chapter. The reunion was just the beginning of a new phase of their lives, marked by love and understanding. They knew there was much to be said and resolved, but at that moment, nothing else mattered. They were finally reunited as father and daughter, and that was all they needed. If you enjoyed this touching story of love and reunion, don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts or what you would do in John's place in the comments. Your opinion is very important. And to not miss any touching stories like this one, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to follow the upcoming videos. Until next time,